Hi everyone, welcome back to another vlog. My name is Shelley Flett. A couple of weeks ago I spoke with you about giving advice and our human desire and need to give advice even when it's not asked for. And this week I want to look at the other side of that. So when is it good to take advice and when is it good to ignore it? And the choice that you have to either take advice or ignore it. And my story comes from an experience that I had when I was younger. So in my early 20s, I put my backpack on and I left Australia with my best friend for 3 years, travelling the UK, Europe and Canada. And throughout that time, while my best friend travelled with me there, we separated and sort of went our own ways once we were established. And at that point, I was really on my own. I had no family around me that I could call and ask for advice. I had very few people that I knew, definitely not close enough to be taking advice from. And so I learned to have more confidence in my own decisions. And what I realised is that when I wasn't taking advice, I was taking more responsibility for the choices that I was making in my life. And I was doing things a little bit differently. But it didn't start that way. It kind of came about when I was working in London and the owner of the pub was my boss. Suggested to me that I go and spend the summer working in Spain. And it was winter in the UK, in England, so things were pretty miserable. And so I was pretty excited about the idea of going to a tropical island or a European island. Anyway, lots of sand and sun, and it sounded like it was heaps of fun for a single female. And so he said, I can hook you up with a job and a place to live and all that kind of thing. And I was like, okay, this sounds way too good to be true. And I did it. And it absolutely was the trip of a lifetime. The experience that I got there was like nothing else I've ever experienced in my life. But not for the reasons that I thought. I didn't really have that much fun. While the island was beautiful, I soon got pretty bored of the view and started to take it for granted. I didn't speak the language, and most of the locals only spoke Menocan. It was a family island, and so most of the tourists that came over were couples with families and wanting to relax and unwind. And I was an excitable 20-year-old who wanted to party and meet people. And so I came back to the UK from Spain feeling really, really lonely and sad, and what was I doing? What mistake did I make? Should I have gone? Should I not have? On reflection, I probably wouldn't have taken the same advice if I was to do it again. And I think that was the catalyst for me, is not everybody knows what's right for me. I really need to be able to take advice and then run it through my own filters. Is this relevant to where I am in my life? Does this actually meet my needs? Is this island experience actually going to give me what I want, which would require me to actually sit down and go, what would I want out of an island experience? So before taking advice from people, I think it's really important for you to understand or to get clear on, well, what do I actually want my outcome to be? What's important to me as part of this process? And then when people give you advice, don't feel obliged to take it. Often we feel compelled to take advice because of the relationship you have with a certain person. It might be someone that you really, really respect, and so taking their advice, even though it's something that goes against what you ordinarily would have done, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea to take advice when it's not appropriate for you, and you're the only one that knows that. So I'm empowering you to not take my advice or take it. It's about making choices, and so decide whether the advice is right for you, and ultimately be responsible and in charge of the decisions that you make and the outcomes that generates in your life.